Did you know that 70% of people admit they avoid stepping out of their comfort zones? It's true. According to a recent survey, many of us prefer to stick to what we know, even if it means missing out on new experiences. Staying in our cozy bubble might feel safe, but it could be costing us our potential. In fact, research shows that people who stay in their comfort zones are twice as likely to feel unfulfilled in life. This video is here to wake you up to the hidden dangers of that comfort zone. You might be surprised to learn that the average person spends about 90% of their time in familiar routines. Imagine all the amazing things you could achieve if you broke free from that pattern. In the chapters ahead, we'll explore how fear holds us back, the incredible benefits of embracing discomfort, and simple strategies to push your boundaries. By the end, you'll see that stepping out of your comfort zone is not just a challenge, it's an opportunity for growth and success. Are you ready to take the leap? Let's dive in. Chapter 1. The Hidden Trap of Comfort. Why familiarity feels so good. Our comfort zone is a tricky thing. It feels safe, familiar, and like home. But here's the catch: staying there can prevent us from growing. According to neuroscientists, the brain seeks comfort because it wants to save energy. When you're not stressed or challenged, your brain uses less energy, and that feels good. But this good feeling can hold you back. In the book Atomic Habits, James Clear explains that we naturally crave stability and routine. It's part of our survival instinct. But here's the issue: personal development happens when we challenge that stability. Growth requires discomfort. If you're not stretching, you're staying the same. Think about it like this: when you're lifting weights, you have to push beyond your usual limit to get stronger. The same goes for life. In fact, research from Stanford University suggests that stepping outside of our comfort zone activates the brain's learning centers more intensely. The more you stretch, the more your brain adapts. But don't worry, you don't have to leap into chaos. Start small. Challenge your daily routine just a bit. Take a different route to work or speak to someone new. These little shifts train your brain to handle discomfort better. And over time, it gets easier. Chapter 2. Growth begins at the edge. The power of productive discomfort. There's a sweet spot between comfort and panic. It's called productive discomfort. This is where real growth happens. You've probably heard of the term comfort zone, but fewer people talk about its counterpart, the growth zone. According to psychologist Lev Vygotsky, the zone of proximal development is where we're challenged just enough to learn new things without feeling overwhelmed. Here's the magic: when you're in that zone, you're not playing it safe, but you're also not drowning in stress. It's the place where you feel a little nervous but excited enough to keep going. Think about it. When was the last time you tried something that made your heart race? That's productive discomfort. One practical strategy is called deliberate practice. Anders Ericsson, a leading expert on expertise, found that people who intentionally practice outside their comfort zones improve faster. Deliberate practice means focusing on specific, challenging tasks that force you to grow. You're not just going through the motions, you're pushing the limits. For example, if you're learning a new language, instead of practicing what you know, challenge yourself with difficult conversations. A good rule of thumb? If it feels a little uncomfortable but not impossible, you're in the right place. Remember, discomfort is the price of growth. It's a signal, not a stop sign. Chapter 3. The Silent Killers. Comfort zone habits that are sabotaging your potential. Now, let's talk about the silent killers inside your comfort zone. These are habits that feel harmless but are slowly stunting your growth. One of the biggest offenders? Overconsumption. Whether it's scrolling through social media or binge-watching TV shows, consuming without creating is a sure way to stay stuck. Data shows that the average person spends nearly 3 hours a day on their phone. That's over 1,000 hours a year. Imagine what you could do with that time if you shifted just a portion of it towards something productive. Another comfort zone trap is overplanning. Have you ever planned something so much that you never actually did it? This is a common habit that gives the illusion of progress without any real action. In her book The 5-Second Rule, Mel Robbins talks about the danger of overthinking. She says, you're never going to feel like it. Waiting for the perfect moment or perfect plan will keep you stuck. Instead, take action quickly, within 5 seconds of having the thought. It's a small but powerful hack to get you moving. Another sneaky habit is procrastination disguised as perfectionism. You might think, "I'm not ready," or "it's not perfect yet." But the truth is, you're holding yourself back because you're afraid of discomfort. Instead, aim for progress, not perfection. Done is better than perfect. So, what's the fix? Start by identifying your comfort zone habits. Are you spending too much time on autopilot activities? Are you stuck in planning mode? Once you spot these habits, break them up. Set small goals and hold yourself accountable. Try a 10-minute timer trick. Work on something new for just 10 minutes each day. You'll be surprised how fast you break out of that comfort zone once you build momentum. If you're finding these insights helpful, make sure to hit the subscribe button for more tips on personal growth and development. Chapter 4. Reprogramming your comfort zone. Turning fear into fuel. Fear isn't the enemy, it's your guide. Most people avoid discomfort because of fear, but what if you could turn that fear into something positive? In Daring Greatly, Brené Brown talks about how vulnerability, which often feels like fear, is actually the birthplace of courage and creativity. So, instead of running from fear, use it as a signal that you're on the edge of something great. The key to reprogramming your comfort zone is to change how you view fear. Instead of seeing it as a barrier, see it as a stepping stone. For example, try a strategy called fear setting, made popular by Tim Ferriss. Instead of just setting goals, list out your worst fears and what would actually happen if they came true. Then, think about how you'd handle each situation. You'll realize most fears aren't as scary as they seem. Another great method is to reframe discomfort as growth. Studies show that when people view stress as a challenge rather than a threat, they perform better under pressure. The American Psychological Association found that people who reframe stress in a positive way have fewer health problems and greater success in their personal and professional lives. So, how do you start? Take on a fear experiment. Pick something that scares you just a little, like speaking up in a meeting or trying a new skill, and do it on purpose. The more you practice facing fears, the more your brain will get used to discomfort. Over time, it will start to feel normal. And when discomfort feels normal, growth becomes your new comfort zone. Chapter 5. The antidote to stagnation. Micro-adventures for expanding your boundaries. You don't need a life-changing leap to break out of your comfort zone. Start with micro-adventures. These are small, manageable experiences that push you just enough to feel challenge. Alistair Humphreys, who popularized the term, says micro-adventures don't need to be big. They're about doing something different from your routine, even if it's just for a day. Why does this work? Because small, consistent changes build confidence over time. Research from the University of Chicago shows that people feel happier and more fulfilled when they engage in variety and novelty, even if it's minor. You don't need to backpack across a continent. Start by changing your morning routine or trying a new hobby. A micro-adventure could be as simple as taking a new route to work or spending a day exploring a part of your city you've never been to. The key is breaking the monotony of your daily life. This gives your brain a boost of dopamine, the reward chemical, which in turn motivates you to seek out more new experiences. If you want to push a little further, consider learning a new skill or attending a class you've never tried. The goal is to stretch your boundaries in a way that feels exciting, not overwhelming. It's like building muscles. Small efforts, consistently applied, lead to big results. Chapter 6. The Endless Frontier. How embracing uncertainty unlocks limitless potential. Life is unpredictable, and that's a good thing. In The Art of Possibility, Rosamund and Benjamin Zander talk about how embracing uncertainty can open doors you never even imagined. The fear of the unknown keeps most people stuck, but if you lean into uncertainty, you'll find it's where the magic happens. To do this, you need to get comfortable with not knowing all the answers. Steve Jobs famously said, "You can't connect the dots looking forward, you can only connect them looking backward." What does this mean for you? It means you don't need to have everything figured out before taking the next step. Uncertainty is part of the journey, not a reason to stop. One strategy to embrace uncertainty is to cultivate a beginner's mindset. This is a concept from Zen Buddhism where you approach everything as if you're a novice, even if you're experienced. When you stop trying to control every outcome, you leave space for new opportunities. In fact, Studies from Harvard Business Review show that people who adopt a beginner's mindset are more adaptable and better at problem solving because they're open to new ways of thinking. A practical way to start is by saying yes more often. Take up new challenges, even when they're unclear. You might not know exactly how things will turn out, but that's okay. The more you embrace uncertainty, the more you'll realize that the unknown holds endless potential. Remember, growth doesn't happen in the predictable. It happens when you step into the unknown with curiosity. If you enjoyed this video and want more tips on breaking free from your comfort zone, don't forget to subscribe for more insights on personal development.